Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist, different group. We break down one of their records, get into the lyrics, the music, how it was made, our work, and everything else. We try to have a good time doing it. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, give us 5 stars, please. 5 stars only. Apple Podcasts, you can give us 5 stars on there as well. All the social media is at Asinine Radio, so go check us out, follow us, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I don't know, my name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. So let's get into it, Jeff. What are we doing today?
We are doing N.W.A. and their first album, Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. There we go. You have to say it like that.
Sorry, I didn't know we were doing it in character.
I'm not a character. That's how they say it.
Well, that was Ice Cube says it like that. So I just know we're doing it in character.
Like I said, it's not in character. That's just how he says it.
That's how he says
when you
it.
sing. When you sing something,
if you're gonna do Easy E, you go Straight Outta Compton. I didn't hear you do that, so we know you weren't doing Easy E. We know you're doing Ice Cube. I'm just saying, if you want to do it in character, we can do it in character. That's not a big deal. It's fine. I like doing characters. It's fun. Bits are fun.
Like I said, it's not a character. Just how they say it, baby girl. That's how they say it. Well. All right, so yeah, N.W.A. Straight Outta Compton, this came out in 1988, the first record. So we were only 1 year old. Both of us were only 1 year old when this album came out. And so what's your origin story with this group?
I hate... Did you open a beer?
I did. I just opened up a Budweiser.
I hate that when we're 2, you say 2 years old, right? Because a year, 2 of them is years.
Yeah.
Because when you say we were 1 year old, it just sounds weird.
But you are only 1 year old.
But it sounds weird. I'm just saying. I'm making a comment. I'm just making a comment. That was it.
That comment is silly.
Okay. I guess subjective feelings are wrong, I guess. That's okay.
Well, continue.
So anyway, what was your? I didn't know what your question was because it was.
I said,
dumb.
what's your origin story with N.W.A. and this record? Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, I when I was 1 year old, when I was I feel like you should be saying when I was a 1 year old. When I was
a 1 year old. Yeah, you could say that too. I mean, either one works.
1 year's.
Why is there a helicopter flying over the house?
My house or your house? I don't.
My house.
At my house, no.
Oh God, it's so loud.
Okay. Yeah, my origin story is really like elementary school. I never really got into N.W.A. A lot of my friends' older siblings listened to a lot of gangster rap. I come from a very like Hispanic area, I guess. So a lot of like Mexicans where I grew up living, and they all listened to like a lot of hip hop. I didn't really listen to a lot of like gangster rap probably until middle school, like 6th grade. I was in middle school in 6th grade. And that's when I really got into like the gangster rap scene. N.W.A. was one of the earlier ones that I got into, but it was probably middle school era. Yeah, I don't know how. It just older friends, older siblings. Friends, older siblings.
Friends, older siblings. Yes.
See, that sounds weird too. I don't like
friends. No, that's how you speak English, dude. Well,
that's called speaking English, dude. Friends is older siblings is. Yeah.
This is fun. Pod talking is hard.
But I do remember loving "Fuck the Police" as far back as I can remember. I just always loved just saying "Fuck the Police" because who doesn't like saying "Fuck the Police" as like a little kid?
Who doesn't like saying the word "fuck" when you're a little kid? Honestly,
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's just that word.
A lot of bad words we said as a kid.
Well,
as kids,
that's true, dude. Man, I had such a bad mouth when I was growing up as a kid. For no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason. Yeah. Just because
it wasn't filmed. Nobody filmed it. So
yeah. I remember I started cussing like a lot in 2nd grade. 2nd grade was like had to have been 7 years old. cussing like crazy.
I would say that's fair. Yeah.
It's older kids, man. They would teach you all the bad words, and then, I don't know, whatever. Stupid.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it.
So my origin story with N.W.A. is I don't remember the first time I ever heard them. I do remember seeing, clips of the group on like MTV or VH1 back in the mid 90s, late 90s, just like in documentaries and stuff like that. But I never got into it. I never liked hip hop until probably late high school. I didn't really get into hip hop until then. So yeah, it wasn't in my scene. I don't know. I just didn't know really anybody that liked hip hop that much. And N.W.A. was a. I don't think I heard Straight Outta Compton, this record, until after high school. I really don't think I did. So, and it's a great record, man. And that's one reason why we're doing it this week, dude.
That's my first impression. To further like my first impressions, I was definitely more like a solo project of these guys than I was as a whole. So I love 2001. I love The Chronic. I love anything Dr. Dre did. I never liked Snoop Dogg all that much, but I liked a lot of the songs that he was on, a lot of the songs that he worked with. And then I love Eazy-E. Eazy's my fucking favorite. Like, hands down, by far, he's my favorite member of the N.W.A. family. No. And I've fucking always just loved his stuff. Actually, memories coming in here. I remember at camp, the song Easy Does It. We're like fucking 7 years old, 8 years old at camp. And the song starts off with like, he was once a dog. I think it's Michelle too singing that part. Suge Knight's toy, or Dr. Dre's ex-wife. And then Easy comes in, bitch, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here, right? Remember that part? And Easy does it?
He says it a lot, and that was like my first note on this record is how many times he tells bitches to shut up.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. So like,
dude,
it's like
all
the song.
The fucking time.
The song starts off with I'm pretty sure it's Michelle. She's singing some hook to another song. I think what it is, and then it comes in with I think it's Easy, and he says, "Bitch, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here." And he goes, "Hey, yo, Dre," and he's like, "Yo, what's up? Give me a funky ass bass line."
Oh, okay, I know that.
And then what the fuck is up in the place to be? But I remember at camp. We had like skits at campfire, right? But then we had like our in-cabin skits where it was just the boys hanging out, fucking around. And we had our own little skit that we would do with that. And we would act out like, oh, who wants to be Michelle? Who wants to be like Easy? Like the counselors would be fucking sitting there on the bed or like on the bunks watching us like act out this fucking scene.
And like the counselors were also like 15, 16 years old. Yeah. It's not like they were like fucking adults, man.
No, immature
ass like 15, fucking 16. Kids.
So I remember like, oh, I want to be Michelle because I want someone to tell me, bitch, shut the fuck up, because it's so fucking funny, and just, this is what we did as children, as 8-year-olds. So yeah. God damn.
Oh, camp, man.
You're
camp
right, dude. I cannot believe how much we cussed so early on. Like aggressive cussing, dude. Aggressive swearing.
And for no reason. Like, it wasn't even like we weren't being mean to people. We were just, I liked to cuss.
Well, I don't even think we knew what the content was. It was just cussing. Swearing was so forbidden. Even now, I still feel weird swearing in front of my mom. Like, it was just so forbidden that like any song that had swearing in it, I wanted to sing.
I know to this day, I still kind of apologize. I say, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss so much or swear so much."
It just feels weird.
I feel bad. Yeah, it does feel weird. It does feel weird.
Unnatural. Shouldn't happen.
I know. I'm fucking 36 years old and can't cuss around our parents properly.
Knowing that, like, at any point they can just listen to the podcast and be like, "Wow, you guys swear a lot."
I know.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, damn. But so like, kind of going back to like. I guess it's not that I wasn't totally into hip hop, because I did like a couple of Dr. Dre songs, Eminem songs back, in middle school and high school. Because we forgot about Dre. I mean, come on, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Big Pimpin', Jay-Z. Who didn't love that song when it came out?
So 99 Problems?
99. Well, that was a little bit later, right? I think.
If you having good problems, I feel bad for you, son.
Got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me.
Hit me. Yeah. No, it was
crazy for this one, Rick. What?
Oh, dude, you still say that shit all the time.
I love saying that.
It's like I think that may be your favorite like hip hop thing of all time. Like
I do say it so much. It's so dumb. Crazy for this one, Rick. So it's so bad. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I love it. Anyway,
that's your boy Rick Rubin getting his fucking hands in everything possible.
But you have to admit that is Jay-Z's best song.
It's a good song.
Dude, it's his best song.
It has his best line. I think his best line is in that song.
Which one?
So like the whole thing is kind of like a story, but there's a line where he's talking about getting pulled over, and the cop comes up and says, "Hey, do you know what I'm pulling you over for?" He says, "Why? Because I'm young and I'm black and my hat's real low."
Real low.
I'm like, "Sir, I'm not a mind
Sir,
reader.
I'm not a mind reader.
I don't know."
Sir, I don't know. Yeah.
Like
I'm
that's
not a mind
good,
reader, sir,
dude.
I
That's
don't know,
fucking solid.
And he does like the voice of the cop too. It's all nasally and high.
Yeah, do you know what I'm stopping you for? Because I'm young and I'm black and my hat's real low. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know. That's good. That's good stuff. We get back to it. Come on, we're getting off track.
Anyway,
here.
we're really getting off track. Anyway, so N.W.A. Straight Outta Compton, first record. Like I said, these guys in the group. It's Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, DJ Yella, MC Ren, and Arabian Prince, who's only on one song, but he did. I was kind of like going through everybody's like biography and shit, but dude, Arabian Prince has really he got screwed over by the group because he helped form the group. He left right before the album came out, I believe, and then he never rejoined the band on any of their reunions, was never inducted into the Hall of Fame, but he was an official member. He was on this record, and he got screwed over hard, and he wasn't even in the movie, the Straight Outta Compton movie that came out in 2015. Like, they really scrubbed him from N.W.A. history. It's fucked up.
Well,
it's fucked up.
I don't know. I interspersed history here with the album review, but these guys just had no fucking idea what they were doing. And
well, there's that too. Yeah, I think Eazy-E was the only one who knew what he was doing from a business standpoint,
because he was a businessman. He was a fucking.
He was
a drug dealer, a good one. Like, he made a lot of money dealing drugs, so he was a good businessman.
Dude, I read that by the time he was 22 years old, he had made over $250,000 drug dealing. Can you imagine that? That's insane.
In 1987 money, right? That's,
Yeah, and that's even crazier. And then there's even a song, I forgot what song it is right now. I have to look at my notes, but there's a song on here talking about how the drug dealers rule the hood. They're the ones talking about all that. And then the fourth verse is Eazy-E from the perspective of the drug dealer. And you're like, oh shit, no, this was actually him. Like, this is autobiographical right here. Like, that shit's crazy.
That's good.
Damn. It's good. It's really good.
It's good.
It's one of the few moments on the record where I thought the lyrics were like, okay, this is solid. Like, this is actually kind of thought out. And then, because really the lyrics on this record are, honestly, they were disappointing. But then these guys were ranged in age from 18 years old to 24 years old, 23 years old. Like, I think MC Ren was 18 when they recorded this, or wrote this at least. So, I mean, these guys were fucking young, man.
Yeah.
I think Yella was the oldest, so I think he was 23 or 24. Man, dude. And then watching the video, it was when I watched the videos, I realized, oh my God, these guys are so young. So I had to look up their ages, and I don't know. It was so bizarre to me.
And don't forget, there's only fucking 4 songwriters on this entire album. And that includes the one song that Arabian Prince wrote. Otherwise, it's just MC Ren, Ice Cube, and D.O.C.
Yeah, no,
he wrote everything. Dr. Dre didn't fucking write anything.
No, he produced though. I mean, really, the beauty behind this record is DJ Yella and Dr. Dre.
Yeah,
I mean, they stand out on this record. I mean, they produced this record. Dre had he had one song for himself, and then
which he didn't write.
He didn't write it. No, he didn't. And then he had a couple verses that he rapped on. But I mean, but that's fine.
And also didn't.
I mean, that's fine. He's a better producer than he is a rapper, even on the Chronic.
No, it is. It's cool because you can hear the beginning of his G-funk sound here. There's little tidbits that that little high pitched synth sound. There's a couple tracks on here where it's oh fuck yeah, look at that's what he will do in the Chronic and perfect that sound and essentially create a genre of music, and it's amazing. It's cool, but damn, as a songwriter, the guy. He got a lot better because he was just non-existent here.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. And I will say, and I think you would agree with me on this, the Chronic is much better than this record.
Yes.
I think the Chronic is hands down I think it is one of the greatest hip-hop records of all time.
I think the Chronic is the best gangster rap album of all time from an objective standpoint.
I'm just saying hip hop in general, like not just gangster rap, but hip hop in general. The Chronic is if not the best, maybe 2 or 3.
Without even thinking, I'd put it in my top 10 for sure.
I'd put it in my top 3 without even thinking.
Well, hold on there, dude. I'd have to really think about it to put it in my top 5.
I mean, 36 Chambers is fantastic. It's amazing, but I mean, from a production standpoint and sonically, like it doesn't hold a candle to the Chronic.
I mean, the Chronic's good. The Chronic is from a production standpoint, it's the greatest sounding produced hip hop album of all time. I think it rivals and it's better than a lot of stuff Kanye did.
Oh yeah,
but
Kanye is one of the greatest.
I don't know if I put it in top 5.
Really? What would you put above the Chronic?
I put 36 Chambers above the Chronic.
Really? Really? I mean, I do love that record, but you would really put that above, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Wow.
I'd probably put...
You put like College Dropout above it too?
No, not now.
Yeah.
I used to, but I've really fallen in love with 808s. I probably put 808s above it.
Damn, that's ballsy, man.
I'd put RTJ4 probably above it.
Well, I mean, RTJ4 is the greatest hip hop record ever made, but I'm being more like objective too. Like
I'd put Paul's Boutique above it. I'd put
that's a tough one.
Yeah, so top 10 for sure. I'd have to really think about it for top 5.
Yeah. Damn, man, hip hop is so it's crazy how much more I appreciate hip hop now than I did like 5 years ago.
Because
it's way more nuanced than people give it credit for.
Yes,
it really is.
Exactly,
it really is.
And it's changed. Like every decade, hip hop is so vastly different than the decade that came before. But you can't like pinpoint it like on a yearly basis. We're like, oh, this new Tyler the Creator album is so much different than his last album. But 10-year gaps, you'd be like, holy shit, like these do sound vastly different from each other. Even like Kanye's stuff, like Donda compared to like his early records sound vastly different. But record to record to record, they kind of like progress a little bit. So it's just fun. It's fun to see hip hop grow in a way that other genres of music, especially with us, because we haven't grown up listening to a lot of other genres of music, except for like the emo and pop punk stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff doesn't really progress that much. But I don't know. Hip hop's fun. It's exciting. It's fun. It's good.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's good.
It's cool to read about it too, because I mean, like we've talked about, you got your Southern hip hop, you've got New York or East Coast, West Coast, and then you got like this stuff in Florida too. It's just those are like, and then even like Detroit, like you can go like farther north and go to Detroit. You got hip hop over there.
Then you have like the whole like Rhyme Sayers Collective in like the Minneapolis, Minnesota area.
Yeah.
And
do you know what area we've never talked about hip hop wise? Because I know neither of us know anything about it. Is like London hip hop.
Oh, I don't even want to. That's fine. I'm cool with it.
You have no interest in it.
That's what it is. I just have no fucking interest.
I don't think you've ever been exposed to it. I mean, and neither have I, except for like one song. But
what song?
I guess M.I.A. would be kind of
London
hip hop in a way.
But she was more so like, and I wouldn't say more so, but she was definitely going into like the electro and the dance stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But she's like hip hop at heart for sure.
Man, M.I.A. is awesome. She's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to N.W.A. Straight Outta Compton. Oh, actually, real quick, you've listened to their second record, right? Or did you listen to it this week?
Yes. And I listened to their EPs, and I listened to the first comp they did.
Okay.
I listened to a lot of solo stuff, a lot of side projects.
I didn't get a chance to listen to the solo stuff. I wanted to get to everybody's first solo record, but I didn't get around to it. But I did listen to the second N.W.A. and that record's really good too.
It's fantastic. It's a really
good record, man.
It's more well put together than this one. It's produced better. Yeah, it's more rhymes focused. Are better. It's just, dude, this thing hits hard in a way that it just can't be replicated, and it was never replicated after or before.
I mean,
really,
honestly, though,
talking about the first 3 songs, not even
honestly,
the first
though,
2 songs.
The second N.W.A. record is really an MC Ren solo record with Dre and DJ Yella doing the beats.
Yeah,
that's really all it is. But yeah, let's. Okay. I don't even know where to start. Where to go?
I know you hate Eazy-E for whatever reason.
I do. I think he's terrible.
But damn, dude, his first solo record, his first solo record is unreal. It's It's a better than Straight Outta Compton. It really is. Like that was Dre and Yella. That was Dre and Yella producing it, and there's a lot of the same writers.
So bad. He's just so bad.
He's not.
He's so bad, dude.
I don't know.
He has the worst flow out of everybody. Like the worst.
That's his style. That's what he does.
It's worse than Snoop Dogg. Like Snoop Dogg has the style too.
No.
Yes.
That's silly boy talk. That's silly boy talk.
Yes. And you know what I found out about Eazy-E too? The dude was only 5'3".
Yeah, he's a small kid.
I didn't realize he was that small. Damn. No offense to anybody who listens to the pod who's 5'3", but damn. I coming from a guy who is so tough, or who was so tough, 5'3", man. Good for him. Good for him.
I really do like respect these guys for what they did for music, for hip hop, for black youth in America, for God's sakes. But I don't throw this word around a lot, but talk about kind of like a little poser ish.
Who Eazy?
All of them, every single fucking one of them, every single. And Eazy, I've always had a lot of respect for because he was the only gangster prior to this.
Well,
no.
When
you're rapping, yes, he was.
MC Ren was a Crip too. Yes, he was.
He was not a gangster though. He was maybe like
MC Ren was the one who got Eazy-E into the group, into the Crips.
He was already doing stuff though. MC Ren was already doing like stuff. He was already like a solo artist, right? He was
that doesn't matter. I'm talking, but we're talking about no. MC Ren had just as much street cred. Maybe not. Well,
no,
okay.
No,
never mind. Never mind. I take it back. I take it back, dude. It's taking a step back. He didn't have as much street cred, but he was also in the whole gang scene with Eazy.
But
for a shorter time.
Yeah, he turned away from it faster. Way faster. Eazy was fully engulfed.
And good.
He did it to make a living, and then that's I don't think Eazy was like an Al Capone gangster. I just think he did it to fucking pay the bills. Nothing else to do. He had no other option.
I mean,
so I get that.
Yeah. As much as I don't like Eazy-E, the guy was fucking smart. He was a smart dude. He was a great businessman. Like reading about his whole business relationship with Jerry Heller. Jerry Heller. The business relationship he had with him was, I was surprised. I was this fucking gangster kid from Compton hooks up with some like older Jewish guy. It was a weird team. It was a weird partnership, and creating Ruthless Records and really Jerry gave Eazy-E like more stake in the whole thing. Like it was like an 80-20 split or something like that, right? Like with royalties and everything like that. And I mean, apparently because he really believed in it, and I mean, he knew the business. Obviously.
No, because he wanted fucking money, and he knew that Eazy-E, it would be easier for him to get 20% out of Ruthless Records than it would be to get 50% out of N.W.A. doing its own like thing. So like the way I see it, I come from the camp of I do think Jerry Heller finagled money from this group. I do think he influenced Eazy-E to go against kind of his friends and his comrades, because like everybody else that was writing more, Dre and Cube should have been getting the most royalties out of anybody, because Cube wrote most of the songs.
Oh yeah, and then Dre
produced most of the music. Yeah. But people say like, oh well, they never sued Jerry Heller over like lost income. It's again no shit, because they signed horrible contracts that they didn't know what they were doing. Their manager at the time was shitty, or probably one of their friends they were paying. They didn't have like proper representation, and instead of like what Jerry Heller could have done was like, hey, these contracts are bad. Sorry, we fucked up. Let's rip them up. Let's renegotiate and let's move forward. But like, no, what happened was everybody fucking left, and everybody hated each other for many years, and nobody really made money except for Eazy and Jerry Heller. And so you look back on it, when Jerry died, 10 years ago, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah,
so the guy had money. The guy had money, and like Ice Cube didn't make any money from this until like 2 years after the Straight Outta Compton dropped.
You're right. And
he was
looking
at home, how you get a job.
And looking at Heller's background too, I mean, the guy managed like some pretty big bands in the 70s. I don't remember them off the top of my head right now, but he managed some pretty damn big bands in the 70s, and I think early 80s as well. And then he hit gold with with Ruthless Records, man. He hit fucking gold, because I think this record sold like 4 million copies just in the US or something like that, and he got a big chunk of that money. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Jerry Heller did anything wrong legally, but I think he was completely at fault morally.
I don't think he's 100% innocent, but I feel like, I don't know all the details and ins and outs of it, but I feel like I think Eazy-E has as much blame for the negotiations as Jerry does.
Dude, you're taking advantage of like inner city black kids who probably don't have the greatest education, who probably are barely like scraping by to survive, who are selling drugs to support their own family, and you come in with these horrible contracts. Like that's taking advantage.
And that's my point. Eazy-E was a smart guy. Like I already said, like he was a smart business guy. And Jerry went to him and not the other guys. Like he didn't like, and Eazy-E I feel like Eazy-E exploited the other guys just as much as Jerry did.
But Eazy-E was too young to even like nobody's going, what's going on? Like he still exploited Eazy-E to exploit his friends.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, that's true.
Like he took advantage of Eazy-E's kind of plight, the fact that he's selling drugs to support himself and the amount of kids he already had at that time, and he had a lot of kids.
When he died in 1995, he had 11 kids, and one of them was born after he died. Fucking nuts, dude. Nuts.
Yeah. It's good times.
It was for him until he died from HIV. But anyway. 0-2. So I assume you have no stinkers, right?
No, I don't have any stinkers.
I don't either. I got 10 bangers. How many do you have?
I think I only have 3 like true beyond bangers, historic things. And I think everything else is a banger or just like really, really good filler. Because really when I think of this album, I really think of just 3 songs.
I think of 2 that obviously the 2 big hits.
Well, and Express Yourself. Like that's,
I don't really, I know the song, but I don't remember it ever being significant.
Oh, it's good. Okay.
I know it is really good, but it's not nearly as significant, like not even close to, Straight Outta Compton and Fuck the Police.
No, that is true. But I think, I don't know, I think Express Yourself is funny. I guess we'll get into Express Yourself. That's my third, that's my 3, like beyond banger. It's the only song on the album that's just Dre, written by Cube. But it's a way more upbeat track for this gangster rap album. And it's not, we shouldn't even call it gangster rap because they didn't call it gangster rap. That was like the media thing. It was reality rap. It was just them talking about, hey, this actually sucks. Our life is kind of shitty. We do deal drugs. We are around gang culture. And gang culture in the 80s, man, like we were born in the 80s, so we weren't there. But everything that we've read about gang culture in the 80s is just bad, especially in LA. Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Dude, it's like, going through like Compton, South Central, Watts. Like in the last, I think the last time I went through there was like maybe 2017, 2018. I went through Watts and Compton, like through the projects and shit. And dude, I felt so out of place. Like I felt like, dude, I did not belong. It's not that I felt unsafe. It was just like, dude, I felt I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, no, I agree. It's you know what? That's why I like Kendrick Lamar so much, is because he's still carrying the torch of this gangster rap Compton era music, and then putting into like kind of contemporary terms, but it's still kind of the same plight. And God, that guy's really good too. You should go back and listen to some Kendrick Lamar after this is over, and we get a new appreciation for what he's doing.
No, I don't think so.
That's okay. You're the only person on earth that thinks that. That's fine. We can file that away into things Tyler is completely wrong about, along with Rise Against and Holla Back not being a good song.
Yeah, that's not a good song.
But Express Yourself. It's again, it's funny because it's more upbeat than the gangster rap stuff on this album. Not the only upbeat song, but it's funny because Dre doesn't swear right on this song, and he pretends to not like smoke weed. And
I know, right? I thought that was kind of weird.
Fucking weird. Like this is it's a deeper song than most on the album conceptually because of kind of like what he's talking about, but it's hard to get around the fact that maybe these guys are just kind of pop stars and they wanted to be pop stars, and while recording this album and writing these songs, they kind of just lost any cred that they may have had. Because
I feel like this is also kind of like a throwback to his was it
World Class Wrecking Crew.
Wait, what was it? Worldwide Wrecking Crew?
World? That sounds weird. World Class Wrecking Crew.
Wrecking Crew, that's what it is.
World.
I felt like this song was a throwback to it because, like you said, it's like it is a poppier track, super upbeat. The sample that he uses from the original song "Express Yourself," where it's just I forgot who does the original, like Brass Construction. I don't remember who does it. But
Charles
yeah,
Wright
just that
the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band.
Okay, there you go. And yeah, so just that loop, it's just very 70s pop funk kind of thing, and yeah, and the lyrics aren't nearly as violent as the other songs, because really it's just him talking about like how he's the best in the game, nobody can beat his beats and this and that. Like it's more of like old school. It's more like golden era hip hop lyrically than it was gangster rap.
Yeah.
So it was a good throwback. And then, honestly, the latter half of the record, outside of the second to last song, which it's the MC Ren song, but the latter half of the record is very much more in the vein of golden era hip hop than it was gangster rap.
Most of these guys most of these guys came from that electro hip hop sound. And that was the African Bambaataa sound. Like that was a very big sound. And
because Dre and Yella were in the Wrecking Crew thing or whatever. Fucking
world class.
That's
why it sounds weird, because we say "wo" so many times. When I say "world," it makes you think that I'm saying "world." World.
Yeah, so they were in that group. And then, have you listened to that CIA group that Ice Cube was in?
No.
No, I haven't either.
I've never listened to that one. I've listened to the Fila crew, the Fila something for the DOC.
Oh,
Texas.
Okay. But the DOC technically isn't a member. He was on a couple songs.
It's annoying because he did so much more for this album than like half of these guys did, and he did more for this album than fucking Arabian Prince did. He wrote almost all the fucking songs. So I think it's silly that
he did do a lot.
Yeah.
Was he inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? The DOC?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, if the Arabian Prince wasn't, then I guess the DOC wasn't either.
He's such a part of this group that when Dr. Dre calls out like the Ice Cube and DOC, Snoop, D.O., Double G's, when Dr. Dre's calling out everybody that he helped make famous, he mentions DOC. He doesn't mention Arabian Prince in that fucking riff.
Yeah, dude, why do they hate Arabian Prince so much? I don't get it.
Because they don't hate him, they just forget about him. Like, oh yeah, he was there. I forgot you were there. That's what's happening.
Damn. Okay. All right. So Express Yourself. This is my 5B, I believe it was. Yeah, I do really like this song, but it's not like. Yeah, it's my number 5. Just some better gangster rap songs. You know what I mean? Not me.
And this is still like. So Public Enemy only had like an album, and then It Takes a Nation that came out like right around this time. So the gangster rap was still like in its infancy, and what separated this album specifically from the contemporaries like Public Enemy was this album's a lot funkier than anything that the East Coast was doing. And It Takes a Nation by Public Enemy, that one is not anywhere on the same fucking realm as being as funky as this one. And that I attribute that to Dr. Dre. I attribute that to Dre just creating samples from the most like funky parts of old soul and disco things, and just creating like a new genre.
Yeah, because who produced the early Public Enemy stuff? It wasn't Chuck D.
Well,
I forgot his.
Rick Rubin executive produced, I guess, It Takes a Nation, and then Chuck D had
yeah, but it wasn't like
production credits. But they only had one album before that, and that was Bum Rush the Show, and I think that was produced by Rick Rubin too.
Was it? I don't. Are you sure? He did that much Public Enemy?
Rick Rubin he wanted to do everything.
I mean, he did do a lot. He's done a lot of great things.
He just.
God, your hatred for Rick Rubin is so silly.
Because I just don't think it's authentic. That's why.
It is authentic.
I just don't.
I think it's you just don't like him because he does too much.
Yeah.
He does a lot. I don't want to say too much. He just does a lot, and that's what you don't like about him.
I do. And I don't know. Like listening to the Beastie Boys, listening to License to Ill, but then you listen to like the stuff they were doing right before it, and like that's damn near the same thing. So sometimes when I think of Rick Rubin, I think that he just attaches himself to a band, an artist, a genre, a scene, and then just makes a fuck ton of money, and then people just associate his name now with like License to Ill, which I think if the Beastie Boys didn't have Rick Rubin there, it would have been just as great. I don't think they needed him. He just had
possible.
He just had money and he had connections, and I think it just made it easier for them to achieve that.
But he barely had connections. He was still relatively unknown.
He produced fucking LL Cool J's first album. Like, dude, come on, get out of here. He barely had connections.
That was still in the New York scene.
In the golden age of
part of
hip
the
hop,
same
he had
scene.
connections. The fuck.
It was all the same scene. You can't tell me that fucking Beastie Boys didn't rub shoulder or were shoulder to shoulder with fucking LL Cool J. Come on, they were all part of the same
That's
scene.
Silly boy talk.
It's not silly boy talk.
It is silly boy talk. He created Def Jam well before like any of these guys released an album. That was at least 1 or 2 years before any of these albums even came out.
But the scene was so small in the 80s. The New York scene was so small.
As a businessman, I think he's great because he saw something happening. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to get in on the front. I'm on the front lines of this. I'm going to put money into this, and then everyone's going to come to me, and I think it'll take off." So yeah, he did take some risks, and it took off, and he made a bunch of money. I don't think he really did anything.
Look what he did with Slayer. Dude, he went from fucking Beastie Boys and LL Cool J, Run DMC to Slayer.
Like, but they're all good bands before and after him. They don't need him. None of these bands need him. I think he's just a guy that attaches himself to cool shit.
But also, when you look at the albums that he's a part of, compared to the albums that he's not a part of from those same bands, there's a huge difference. And not to say that the other albums are bad, it's just you could tell the difference when he has his little fingers in there. Like, they're still really good. It's not like a John Feldman, The album that we like by LL Cool J, he didn't produce. The album Bad, he didn't even produce that one. Wait, which one did he do?
He did his first one.
That's right. That's like their third record, right? Or his third record?
LL, the one that we like. We have?
Yeah.
It's like his second record. But that's like straight, that's got to be like 86. And his first one was like 84, 85.
Okay.
Listen, guy, okay?
Listen, Linda.
I just think that Rick Rubin attaches himself to things that he thinks are going to be great. And that's great. That's fine. He's putting a little bit of money. He's taking a little bit of risk. But I don't think any of these artists need him as much as he needs them.
Okay. I disagree. But we can move on.
I don't think he's done anything historic that would not have been done without him.
Okay.
The shit would happen anyway.
Okay. So. All right. Well.
It's like having a comet like heading towards Earth and everyone can see it, and then someone's like, "Hey, there's a comet! Watch out!" Like, yeah, we already saw that. Yeah, but I said it first. That's Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin's that guy.
That's such a.
That's exactly what he does. It's like this is already happening. Hip hop was already happening. He's put himself in front of it.
That was something, dude. That's called business, dude. All right. So, do we have anything else to say about this song?
What song we've been talking about?
Express yourself.
Just that one. Okay, gotcha. Nope, we're good. I'm good.
Good on this one. So, wait, did you say this was your 1B? Or did we just want to talk about it? Okay.
It's my 3B. It was important to talk about, but no, it's not my...
So then what is your 1B?
It's fuck the police.
Fuck the police.
Easy. Fucking easy. Hands down.
I don't know, man. This is my 2B.
That's stupid. You're being stupid. So I didn't know we were playing this stupid game. What's your 1B? Is your 1B Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton.
Keep going.
No, I'm not going to use that word, dude. Walt.
He's just crazy motherfucker.
Oh, that's true. He doesn't say that word. You're right.
And you gotta have a nickname because it was like Straight Outta Compton, crazy motherfucking name O'Shea Jackson. Like it doesn't hit as hard,
No, it does not. No, not at all. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're not talking about Straight Outta Compton. We're talking about fuck the police. Got to say it like that too.
Fuck the police. Fuck the police.
Coming straight from the underground. Anyway, what do you got on this one?
So I don't think this is just like, I think this is the greatest rap song of all time. I think this is it. This is it. I think this, people were dancing around like the conscious hip hop and the golden era of hip hop, but like ultimately it was all stemming from the same place. and we talk about like hip hop, the origins of hip hop being secluded in New York, to these little like small clubs and in Brooklyn and stuff, and during like the 70s when Brooklyn was on fire constantly, and black youth had nowhere to go because they were getting hassled by the man outside, so they're secluded and confined to these small little places, and they created this genre of music that was their own to listen to with nobody else interference. But it was never quite to like us white people, we never got it until now. Like now we get it. It's like, oh, now I understand. Now I get it. And Chuck D can go on for days and inspire me to get more involved, and you would, and we were only like one at the time, so it's not like I did then. But like now, like you'll get more involved, you'll understand more. But there's no better way to get people to understand like your plight than is to be just outwardly aggressive. And that's
what they did.
That's it. And I don't even think this is just like the greatest rap song of all time. I think this is one of the greatest punk songs of all time.
Oof.
Okay. Because you look at like, and I know people fucking love the Sex Pistols so much because they were so fuck you to everything. And yeah, okay, aesthetically I get it. They were kind of playing on the ship for the Queen at the time, and kind of like fuck the Queen and whatever. I get it, whatever. Blah, don't care. But this is something different because these kids are black. They're already getting hassled.
Because this is actually real. The Sex Pistols, they weren't real. They weren't really a band. They were a style. They were marketing. That's all they were. They didn't. Yeah, they came from England, but it wasn't like they just weren't real. I don't know. It's just so fucking annoying.
They were dumb.
They were so
but
dumb.
Even
Sex Pistols
even Henry Rollins, complaining about stuff in the 70s and getting hassled by the police and getting the shows shut down. It's like, dude, if you're black, you wouldn't even have that show. Yeah. That show wouldn't even fucking happen to begin with.
No, it's true.
So that's where like this comes into play is now people are listening. The audience is listening. THX, baby. The audience is listening.
The audience is listening.
And I like that. I think it's amazing.
It is. I will agree with you that this could be arguably the biggest punk song, even though it's not punk, no guitars, nobody can play the guitar.
Punk, we always get we go over it all the time. What makes punk, right?
I know.
Is it a sound? Is it an aesthetic? Is it an attitude? Who knows?
It's a little bit of it all. But so I agree. This is one of the most important hip hop songs of all time, if not the most. One thing that has always, or that really bothered me this week about N.W.A. is that they are called gangster rap. The whole gangster thing was so glorified at this time, and the guys in the group they hated that label. Nobody liked that label of gangster rap. They called it reality rap, which eventually became conscious hip hop in the 90s. But they kind of led the way into that conscious hip hop revolution. That I don't want to say revolution because it wasn't that popular, but the conscious hip hop that came in the 90s, like these guys were the stepping stone into that with the reality rap. But unfortunately, the media took it, were racist about it, and turned it into the gangster rap and tried to deminimize it. Or deminimize?
You can say demonize. You can say
demonize. Yeah, they tried to demonize it. They tried to get advertising out of it, get eyes on the channels or the radio stations or whatever it may be. And that sucks. That really sucks because that's not what it was about. Like you said, it was talking about where they lived, how they grew up, their lifestyle, which isn't good or great by by anybody's standards, really. But I don't know. It just sucks how they were treated in the media because that's not what they were going for. They wanted to bring light to it, but that's not what people were talking about in the media. So that sucks. And
it's interesting because just like the more you read about how bad, I think like the MS-13 gang was founded in Los Angeles, like the most notorious gangs on earth was founded in Los Angeles in like the 70s. And so going into like the 80s, like it was just out of control. So much violence. Like there's so much violence. There was a truce between gang members in like 1990, 1991 or so, early 90s. There was a truce between like all the street gangs. It was right before the 92 riot, so it had to have been like 90 or 91. But there was a truce between all the street gangs, And even like the mayor got involved, and like city council members got involved in LA. We're like, dude, we need a truce. Like, gang members, can you please just call it for like a little bit? And that was stemming from like the late 80s when there was some drive-by and some like college bystander got killed in the middle of two gangs firing at each other. Like, there was no rules.
Yeah. It was like the fucking Wild West.
And like the inner city gang violence was always kind of secluded to the inner cities, and like nobody really cared about it because, they're just killing each other. Who cares? But then when it kind of spread out to like the more nicer areas of the greater South
suburbs,
LA area, then it became like a problem. And like, dude, like to have like the city council members and the mayor ask the gang members to like have a truce, like that's bad. That's like some fucking movie shit. That shouldn't happen in real life.
But it's just insane that these kinds of gangs even exist. Like, when you look at the creation of them, I was reading more about like the creation of the Crips and how that started. And it was created by by these two guys. I don't remember the names right now, but essentially it wasn't meant to be like this super violent thing. It was just meant to, protect your area. Like it wasn't meant to like, let's do a bunch of drive-bys. Like if we're going to fight, we're going to like brawl. Like it's going to be like a fist fight. And then the guy who initially created it, he went to jail for like 6 months or something like that, got kind of fucked up in jail because the whole gang situation got out of control on the streets, and it was getting back to the people in jail that, this guy created the Crips, like this guy created it. And then when he eventually was released, he saw what was going on, and he was thinking, oh my God, this has gotten way out of control. I'm out. Like, he stepped out of it. The guy who created the Crips stepped out of it after a couple of years because he's like, I didn't want the guns involved. I didn't want all this other shit involved. And then he eventually he got killed like in a drive-by or something like that. So it
makes sense, right? If you trace, I don't know, kind of just marginalized minority groups post like World War II and going into the 50s and then even like the 60s and the civil rights movement, and nobody's making any money. Like nobody has any fucking money. Everyone's just poverty stricken. But I mean, just like it is today, the rich are still getting richer, and like, what do? You're fucking frustrated. You have to sell drugs just to like pay for your family's food and shelter and stuff, and you're just a forgotten group.
Yeah,
and that's why I think "Fuck the Police" comes in, not necessarily like specifically about police, but it's more of a commentary on just like American society. It's not like "Fuck the Police." It's like "Fuck the system."
Yeah,
fuck authority. Land of the free? Question mark.
Free?
So I think "Fuck the Police" is a song. It's not, it's about fucking the police for sure, but it's also just there's a bigger picture there.
There's a bigger statement, there's a wider statement here, and it's a deeper statement. And I mean, even when you break down the lyrics in the song, which I don't think are that deep, but the theme is in the song is that the LAPD is on trial and the guys in the group are the ones in the jury,
And this wasn't even the worst of the LAPD. The LAPD got fucking worse after all
this.
They
did. Yeah, look at the fucking Rodney King, all that shit,
The Rampart scandal, the actual gangsters working for the LAPD.
Exactly. And they were calling, and literally in this song, they were calling out the corruption in the judicial system, not outright, not like Public Enemy style or anything like that, but they were calling it out. And unfortunately, the media took it as cop haters, cop killers, which they didn't like cops, but I mean, the media just didn't take the deeper dive into it, the corruption of the system, and that's fucked up. Fucked up.
If you're talking to a friend, if you're talking to a colleague, if you're talking to any person on earth, and they say, "Oh, I fucking hate this specific type of person or this race or this whatever it is," your next question is, well, why? Yeah. And so like when they're saying "fuck the police," like nobody asked why. Like every article I read that was dated back to the late 80s, early 90s, like never anybody like interviewed them like, why do you hate the police? Why did you do this song?
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, dude, a simple fucking why could have like explained so much. And these guys just aren't lyricists yet. Ice Cube was good at like telling stories, but it was kind of one dimensional at this point. So they're just not great lyricists yet. And it's just like, why? Why do you hate the police? And I feel like that could have done wonders for this group, for hip hop, for music, for society. Just like, why? Why do you hate the police?
And it's crazy how the media they tore this group down, or they broke this band down so quickly within a few years, because when this album came out, all the media backlash from it, they couldn't even tour. They couldn't play shows in a lot of areas because cops were refusing to show up or be security or whatever. They refused to help out the guys from the band, which is like the opposite of being a cop, right? To protect and serve. Like,
I was reading more into like that because I was like, why the fuck? Who cares then? So like a lot of the venues that they wanted to play, you need insurance to play these venues, and then part of the insurance is security, and coming with security, either you provide, 40 security officers, or here's a number for the local PD, but I'm not going to insure you unless you have X amount of security officers present at these shows. And so, they call local PD and they said, no, we're not going to fucking go there. We're not doing it. So they couldn't get insurance. Therefore, they couldn't play these venues. Yeah. So it's like this kind of legit way of I don't know. That's fucked up and stupid. There's a whole like Detroit, iconic Detroit show they did, right? Where they're not supposed to play Fuck the Police, but they play Fuck the Police, and all mayhem broke loose.
And honestly, I do get it from a police officer standpoint too, because it's like, why would you want to put yourself in this position? Why would you want to go to this show where literally everybody wants to attack you? Because they're not understanding like the overall message of the song. They're just hearing "fuck the police" and that's it. Work it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't blame the cops, but then it's fucked up that they didn't go. But it's just like, I don't know, man.
Again,
it's such a crazy situation.
Going on any kind of daytime talk show and just saying like, why did you do this? Why do you think this way? Can we come up with like a middle ground? And that never happened. And it was just like a he versus them thing. And it just spiraled out of control. And it's crazy too, because we saw it with like after the George Floyd stuff, right? People were posting the "fuck the police" again. And it's like, damn, dude, 1988, this shit came out and it still rings true. Like people are still like rallying behind this song as an anthem. Again, not strictly to police, but like just institutionalized fucking corruption.
At least now people they understand that more than they did in 1988 when this came out, So
yeah. And again, I don't think this is specifically fucking the police. I think it's just an institutional thing. It's the system itself. Agreed. They just couldn't articulate it as well.
No, and I just don't think they really cared that much either. I just don't think they cared.
But god damn, dude.
I think at this point, I mean, they're young too. Like we talked about, they're from ages ranging from 18 years old to like 23 years old. I mean, these guys are young, no real experience in. Well, I don't want to say actually. I don't want to say no real experience in the real world, because they had way more experience than we did at that age.
I mean, they have more experience then than we probably ever will. Really.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but it's just like when you're at that age, like, you don't give a fuck about anything. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. You just don't care. You think you're invincible. Like, a lot of times you don't think about others and what could happen to other people or your community or shit like that. They just didn't give a fuck. So. And
that's, dude, like, just Ice Cube's opening fucking line. Dude, the "fuck the police" coming straight from the underground. Young homie's got it bad because he's brown. It's just, that's straight up. Just, it's pretty hard. There's no way around it. He's saying the police are fucking racist. They just have not. Like, nobody says that. Nobody said that.
Except for, like, Ice-T. I mean, Ice-T was talking about that shit. Like, that abrasively.
Ice-T was a gangster, too. So I give him that.
I think Ice-T was more of a gangster than most of these guys in this group were.
I think Ice-T was a more gangster than anybody in this group. I think Eazy was a gangster by just because he had nothing else.
Just because he was a drug dealer. Just because he was a drug dealer. That was it.
Because he's not a gangster because he got strong-armed by Suge Knight, right? And
also Suge Knight. Suge Knight is like 6'6" and like 400 pounds. Eazy is 5'3" and maybe pushing 100 pounds.
Doesn't matter though. If you're a true gangster, like you have connections. Like if you're a true gangster, nobody fucks with you. Like Al Capone.
Did you read that story where, I think it was right after this record. Yeah, it was after this record came out, and Ice Cube had left. Dre was kind of on his way out too. And Eazy went to Jerry Heller and he said, we got to take Suge Knight out. He's ruining everything. He's like the angel of death, essentially. He's the devil. And it's like, and he pretty much told Jerry, like, I'm going to kill him. Like, he needs to die. And then Jerry supposedly had to like calm him down and say like, no, that can't happen. And then eventually, Suge Knight, Death Row Records took over.
So
quickly.
The biggest gangster in all of this family tree is Suge Knight.
Oh yeah,
he's menacing. Up until like today, like right now, right? Like 3 years ago, he fucking ran over a bunch of dudes because he's pissed off at him over the.
He's still in jail.
Whatever the fuck it was. Like the guy, that guy's a true gangster. And then he went into. So the story goes, right? He goes into Ruthless Records with a bunch of his cronies, and he surrounds Eazy-E, and he strong arms him to release Dre, to release Michelle, and I think that was it. Maybe one more, so they can go sign with Death Row. But like, that doesn't happen. If you're a true gangster, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So that just means he's a bigger gangster.
It's true because I mean, at this point, knowing the threat of Suge Knight and the other gangs and things like that, you would think he would have had a bigger posse. Eazy would have had a bigger posse.
Exactly.
You know, and I mean, Suge Knight
should get a bigger one.
Yeah, he should have had a bigger one. Yeah, because he did have. I mean, up to that point, he possibly had more street cred than Suge Knight. You know, just because of his celebrity status.
Man, and Suge Knight just had like ties to fucking LAPD, the whole Rampart division, like putting like gangbangers in the LAPD. He had ties supposedly to the death of Pac, death of Biggie. Nobody knows if he was involved. Nobody knows what he was doing. Like the guy's, he was wild, absolutely wild.
Did you see that news headline from today about Tupac?
Today?
Yeah, about Tupac.
No, is he alive? They find him?
They found him. No, in Vegas, the cops raided a house not in Vegas, but in Henderson, one city over. They raided a house in connection to Tupac's murder.
Oh damn!
Literally today. Yeah, but
no
further details were given. But there was a warrant at this property in Henderson regarding a connection to Tupac's death, murder.
Damn, it was today.
It was literally today.
Look at that.
Literally today, this morning.
Wow.
Yeah. Like all the Vegas or like Nevada news stations were reporting it. I got like a news alert on like fucking. I don't know, whatever news thing I followed.
It was like 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like hours before we started potting.
Yeah, I know. Coincidence. What a coincidence.
How weird. I wonder.
This is Tupac's comeback, man. Tupac faked his own death.
This is where he's been this whole time.
He's been in Henderson, Nevada the whole time.
Mid-90s.
Hanging out with Art Bell, the whole time.
That's where he was. He went to like a Tyson show or something, or a boxing match, and that's where he got killed. That's what it was.
I think so, yeah. Yep. Damn, wow. Crazy.
Not a big fan of Tupac though. Just saying.
He's fine. He's better than Biggie. I don't get
it. That's not correct. That's wrong.
Well, that dude.
But yeah, let's get into some of the lyrics here because one of my least favorite lyrics in the entire album is on this song.
Okay.
And that's MC Ren when he says that he's a sniper with a hell of a scope. He says, I'm a sniper with a hell of a scope, taking out a cop or two. They can't cope with me. Bad. It's just bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's not. There's no flow there. There's no nuance. It's forced. It's silly. And he tries to rhyme cope with scope, but there's still words after cope, so he kind of like tapers off a little bit, and it's amateur shit, dude.
It is amateur,
not good.
Yeah.
At least if Easy was do it, it would be goofy, and it would sound good.
I really though, MC Ren is the best rapper out of all the guys.
No, that's Ice Cube is the best rapper, but MC Ren is pretty definitely. Good. But Ren
has more. He has more range than Cube does.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I think
Cube, Ren is vanilla. Ren is middle ground. He can go fast. He can go slow. He has a lot of like cool stuff that he can do, but there's nothing unique about him. Here,
okay.
Compared to Ice Cube.
Right. Okay.
That's why.
I really do. I think Ice Cube is the best rapper in this entire group, hands down. He is the best rapper, and the most unique. He is.
He's not the most unique, but I would say he's the best.
No, he is the most unique because he has the most demanding voice. Like the only reason why Eazy-E is unique is because he's so bad. That's the only reason why. No, he's not. He's not.
So good.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Love Easy.
Idiot. No.
Idiot. Did you watch the video for this one?
Yes, I did.
It just really shows him being harassed, mostly by cops at gunpoint.
I mean, both Straight Outta Compton and Fucking Police are pretty much the same videos.
But it's interesting because the video was like banned.
The whole time they're
everywhere.
just walking down the street. Like both videos are them walking down the street with their Raiders hats. That's it.
But like, why were these videos banned? Right? Because it was violence. Because there's too much gun violence. It's like, well, fucking G.I. Joe cartoon was nothing but gun violence through the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, why was that okay?
And you know what? And the violence was cop on civilian violence too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they were going up to cops and like executing them and shit, you know? It was literally the cops arresting them with guns to their heads, which is like, come on, dude. No cop even back then was putting a gun to a civilian's head like that.
Well, maybe.
Come on. I don't think they were. These fucking big ass revolvers to the fucking guys' heads. Come on.
So I will say that friend of the pod, his dad worked for an old school department.
He was in the Watts riots.
Some of those stories that he told, I mean, just like when I was asking him, it was like, damn, I cannot believe you did that. And even he was kind of like, yeah, I don't know why I did that either. And then going through the police academy, some of these older, crustier guys that were like clearly fucking old as fuck, who were also for like LAPD back in the 70s. And one guy was in the 60s too. Like he was a cop in like the mid 60s.
Damn.
The way they treated people, I just was like, how the fuck did you get away with that? So I don't disbelieve that that probably happened more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was no rules. There's no cameras, no rules. That's the rule. No cameras, no rules.
Until Rodney King. Then there was the camera dude.
That was a camera dude.
Oh man. Anyway. Are we getting too hyper local? I don't know. I guess it's all related to this.
It is hyper local, but I mean, calling like Los Angeles local is I mean, come on, one of the most popular cities on earth.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
I mean, Los Angeles got to be
just
like top 3 most popular cities on earth, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. And and in this instance, we do have like a direct connection, not connection, but relation to somebody who was on the scene there, being friend of the pod, whoever's dad. Who was there on the scene during these times, which is crazy to think about.
Did he ever tell you stories about like what he did and what he saw?
Yeah, I've heard some of the shit that happened.
It was just like, God damn, dude!
In the 70s and 80s, yeah.
Didn't you feel bad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Just didn't care.
Gnarly.
So we got that. Did you read about the Detroit incident? It was in the movie too. If you watched
I didn't watch the movie. I just didn't have time to watch it, and also I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want it to just kind of sway my views on the members. You know what I mean?
I mean, the movie makes them seem way more
biased.
gangster than they actually were.
Yeah, and like watching the music videos and reading about them, it's like, dude, these guys, they're just like young punks, dude. That's what they are.
But like. So I will say that they're not as gangster as we fantasize them to be, I guess, right? There's some weird fantasy.
Romanticize would be the
romanticize. There we go.
Yeah.
There's some weird thing that we have. Maybe it's just like an American thing, but like we do romanticize a gangster for some reason. Yeah. And these guys aren't as aggressively gangster as I thought that they were, even up until this week. But there's still like black youth in fucking Compton in the 80s. Like that's still way worse than the majority of other Americans had it.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
There is something to be said about that. Yeah, they're not gangsters, but they're pretty much like they were essentially nobodies. Like they got treated like shit. They got forgotten about. And had it not been for this record, like who knows where they'd fucking be. They're all in hip hop groups beforehand that were just not very good. But anyway, the Detroit incident it stemmed from the FBI letter. Did you read the FBI letter?
I didn't read the letter, but I know about it and how blown out of proportion that was, because the FBI letter was just written by like the assistant director or something like that, by just one guy that didn't represent the entirety of the FBI, but the media took it and ran with it and said, "Oh my God, the FBI it's just they blew it up into something way bigger than it actually was."
Yeah,
and that was annoying.
The letter wasn't even bad. It wasn't even like attacking N.W.A. It was just saying like, "Hey, you have a song that is about this. We take it seriously because the men and women in law enforcement, they put their lives on the line, yada, yada, yada. They never said, don't play the song. They never said, change the song. They just said, like, kind of like, we hope you know, and they say they, it's just one guy. He just kind of said, like, I hope you understand that promoting violence in any way is not what we're about, and it's not what you're about. But then, the media blew it up. But stemming from that letter, they were banned from playing Fuck the Police. Again, going back to the insurance thing. Cops wouldn't show up to the venues, therefore they couldn't get insurance, therefore they couldn't play the venues. And so the Detroit one, legend has it, that they were sitting there and the crowd started saying, like, fuck the police, fuck the police. And supposedly, people, like eyewitnesses, saw police officers lighting cherry bombs or firecrackers that sounded like gunshots to make the crowd go crazy, and that's what shut down the show. And in the movie, it's straight gunshots, right? Like, there's a fucking gunshots in the movie.
Yeah.
And then you see all the guys from N.W.A, Ice Cube and everybody, they're bailing from police and running away. But in reality, they all just kind of went out the back door and then realized, like, nothing's going on. And they went back to the dressing rooms. It wasn't that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But, like, the big takeaway is, supposedly, the cops were lighting off cherry bombs to break up the show after they sang "fuck the police."
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. But damn, dude, see, that's why I didn't want to watch the movie, because I didn't want to have a bias or get swayed by it, because everything is it's dramatized, and that
you got it. It's a movie.
Annoying. It's a movie. I know it's annoying, and I didn't want that. Because these guys were just young punks, young kids.
I'll tell you, man. If that story's true, like, that's more punk too than, like, most of the punk artists that we grew up listening to. They're like, oh, we're so punk.
They just walked off and went back into their dressing room.
Yeah, but like the fact that police are sabotaging your show.
Yeah, that's true. Instead of busting it up and beating the shit out of people like at the old hardcore shows in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's crazy too, dude. Like, we've talked about it on the pod, like back in the early 80s and all those hardcore shows in LA and Long Beach and shit. Dude, the cops would just come in and just beat the shit out of the people that were there for no reason.
Well, that's the difference too between like white kids and black kids, dude, is because white kids, it's okay to wrestle with the police and it's fun to talk about it now. But you imagine like a black punk band from like the 70s wrestling with cop, they'd be dead.
That's true. No, you're right.
They wouldn't be here to talk about it.
No, you're right. You're right.
Tiny man, fuck the police. Maybe the best punk song of all time. Very well be. Maybe not the best. Maybe the most important. One of the most important.
What about Cop Killer from Body Count?
That ain't no way fucking does. Oh, there's a song on here too. When what's it called? Fucking Compton's in the house. Anytime I ever hear anybody say "in the house," like someone's in the house, all I think is body count in the house. So the opening line of Compton's in the house, someone says like, "Oh, Compton's in the house," and then I thought of Body Count.
Such a dumb song.
Oh, it sounds so good though.
It's so dumb. Body count.
Yeah. So fuck the police. That's all I got on that one.
All right, let's get into Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
What do you got on this one? Because I assume this is your 2B, right?
Or kill
3B?
Minority.
Or 2B.
Yeah. Also, like, too, like, fuck the police, man. He just straight says, like, they have the authority to kill a minority. Like, that's so aggressively.
That is.
There's no way around it. There's no. It's completely transparent.
Yeah, you're right.
It's on the nose. That's good. Yeah, Straight Outta Compton is my 2B, but it's so close, and it's only my 2B because fuck the police has become like this institution and just music and youthful angst.
It is. But, dude, what a way to open up the record, too. Like, you get that little intro with Dre. It says, you are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge. Then ticket. Straight Outta Compton. It just, it hits so fucking hard. And then you get between the verses, you get the little interludes with, like, Easy, kind of like hyping up, like, the next verse.
Yo, Ren, tell him where you're from. Easy's his name. The boy is coming straight out of Compton. His brother that'll smother your mother and make your sister think I love her. Favorite line of the whole fucking album right there.
It's so bad.
It's so, dude. It's so. What do you call it when you hate women? It's womanizing.
Misogynistic.
Yeah. There you go. Misogynistic. It's so misogynistic. Yeah. It's so fucking 80s and 90s. It's so gross, but it's funny. I laugh. It make your sister think I love her. God, dude.
Dude, Easy E, man. I mentioned it earlier in the pod. in this episode, but he's always telling bitches to shut the fuck up, like all the time. Like almost any song that he has like a verse on, he tells a bitch to shut the fuck up. It's so stupid. It's so over the top, and it's so fucking rude.
in his same thing here, he says, "You think I give a damn about a bitch? I ain't a sucker."
I know. I wrote that in my notes too. It's like the worst. It's the worst, man.
Why? For what reason?
Well, no, okay. he's well. I mean, the two. It's the two lines. It's so. What about the bitch who got shot? Fucker.
Fucker.
You think I give a damn about a bitch? I ain't a sucker. Like, dude, that's just. It's so.
This is an
dumb.
Autobiography of the E.
See? Yeah, it's bad, dude. It's so bad. It's so dumb.
Oh man, that's good. It makes your sister think I love it. Yeah, that's good. No, Straight Outta Compton, it drops right in. I mean, we're talking. If this is their debut album, this is the first we hear of them. This is the first most people will hear of them. And then now they're dropping the N-word. Like, we're hearing them drop the N-word in the most aggressive way possible, and it sounds antagonistic.
It does, yeah.
But it's not. It's not like an antagonistic thing. This is, again, reality rap. This is a glimpse into the life of another person. In the same way.
The profanity, everything here. I mean, it starts off right off the bat. The second line, he's saying motherfucker. The third line, he's dropping the N-word. You know, it's just the fourth line he's talking about, fourth and fifth line he's talking about killing somebody with a gun, with a shotgun. Just like, dude, like right off the bat, the first 5 lines are just, whoa. Like, nobody had heard something like this up to this point. Even, I think Cop Killer predates this song, but even Cop Killer wasn't this intense, wasn't this graphic, I guess.
From Body Count?
Yeah.
No, that was Body Count's first album was after this.
Was it after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did on the pod. That's fine. You forgot.
No, we didn't. Oh, we did do that. Yeah, we did do that.
Body Count's in the house. Yeah. We didn't rank the albums though, because there's a lot.
There were too many.
That was at least like 93.
No, it was earlier than 93.
94 maybe.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't
Who
matter.
knows? I don't know.
Anyway, 0-2. I don't know. But yeah, Straight Outta Compton, great opener, great. It's not a great like thesis statement for the rest of the record because, like I mentioned earlier, the latter half of the record kind of drops a lot of the gangster rap and it becomes more of like a golden era hip hop style. But
it's more like specific to like the electro hip hop sound.
Yeah.
Because I would say even like Gangsta Gangsta is the first song that starts to go down. Straight Outta Compton and Fuck the Police. If you took those 2 songs out of this album would be not what
nearly as hard.
We think it is.
Yeah.
So I think starting with Gangsta Gangsta, the album takes a dip. It's just in tone, not quality, just in tone.
Agreed. Because the beats and production are there. The entire fucking album. But yeah, I mean, lyrically, what do you have on this one?
It's a hype song. It's about being a badass, and I don't know. It also kind of bleeds into the realm of surviving the streets. Again, a glimpse into my life. Here's where I'm from. Here's how I survive, and here's what I deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah. That's what I get too. I mean, really, almost all the songs are the same lyrically. It's about, talking about hyping yourself up, talking about how tough you are, or whoever is rapping, however tough they are, growing up or being in the hood and Compton and the scene, whatever, and how dangerous it is. But don't fuck with me because I'll fuck you up. I'm the best in the game. I'm the best. It's just like it gets a little exhausting. Like 4 songs in, like come on, dude, come on, guys.
It's true.
It's just a lot of and it's so many words, and it's like every 4 lines, it's like, dude, you're just repeating yourself. It's too much. It's too much of the same thing. So that's where I fault this record.
It's interesting because since Easy E apparently didn't write any of the lyrics on this album, that means somebody's writing lyrics for Easy, and I think it's the DOC in this one specifically, and a lot of the songs. But that means the DOC is not only writing like a cool like lyric for Easy, but he's also writing it for Easy. So he's getting into Easy's head. He knows like how would he write this song? That's incredible songwriting. You're writing a song that's so good that everybody thinks that that person wrote the song because that's exactly how they would write the song if they could write songs.
Or
or
DOC just made the Eazy-E character, from the musical standpoint.
But judging by the 11 kids, judging by the drug dealing, judging by everything else that Easy did,
okay,
that's easy.
That's fair. That's easy.
But then it's like, you're right. It is. He's kind of like, which came first, the chicken or the egg, right? I don't know.
Yeah, because we don't know really how Easy would have actually written songs. We just don't know.
He didn't write them.
He didn't write them. And the songs that he did write, he probably based it off of what other people wrote for him. So, not on this record, but after this record.
Did you listen to any of the... so there's a lot of remixes. Not a lot. There's 3 remixes on the album. Did you listen to the original versions of them or no?
No, I did not.
Yeah, not a lot of difference. Some of them are different, mostly in tone. So 8 Ball was the first remix, and then there's 2 other ones after that. But like the biggest difference between the remixes and the original ones, and the original ones were on the compilation album that came out before this, right? Because it was like all of these guys, they had side project bands before they were all kind of in N.W.A.
What was it, like N.W.A. and the Posse or something like that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And so like 3 or 4 of the songs were N.W.A. One was just like an Eazy-E song. One was like the Funky Fresh crew that the DOC was in. The Feel the Fresh crew. One was... What was Dre's fucking band's name?
The Wrecking Crew.
World Class Wrecking Crew.
Dude, why can't I not remember that? Fuck.
World
Class. It's the second. It's the Class. It's the Class I don't remember.
World Class Wrecking Crew. Because it's a dumb name. It sounds like
it's terrible.
I don't know. It's stupid. It's dumb. Anyway, it's all about tone. Tone's the difference. The original ones were more in line with like the electro hip hop sound, and these ones are more in line of like the gangster rap sound. So that was the biggest difference between the remixes.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And then Easy Does It. I didn't know until this week that not Easy Does It, but Boys in the Hood predated this.
What, really?
This album. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because Boys in the Hood.
It does. It sucks. You just love the Dynamite Hack version, so you think you need to like the Eazy-E version.
That's the greatest. Dude. That's the greatest cover song of all time.
That's the greatest cover song. Yes,
that's a fact. Yes, but dude, the Boys in the Hood song's fucking great.
It's not. It's not, dude. It's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Okay. That's wrong, but okay.
Dude, you've been so duped.
That song predates this
by like what, like a year maybe, something.
Like if that even.
Yeah, that's weird.
That was
I had no
Ice
idea.
Cube. I don't think Eazy wrote anything on his first album. I think that was all everybody else. I don't think he
was
wrote
it
anything
mostly
until
like Ren and Dre.
No, it was because they were all still friends at this time. They didn't hate each other yet. So it was everybody. It was MC Ren. It was Dre. It was Ice Cube because Ice Cube wrote Boys in the Hood, right, by himself, and then Dre wrote Easy Does It. Oh, and Ren because maybe it was just Dre. I don't know.
I don't think Dre had any sort of sole writing credit on this record or ever.
On this one?
Yeah.
Or in Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton. Yeah, I don't think he had any. He didn't have any sole writing credit.
I don't think he wrote anything on this album.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I think it was all production, and then DOC and Ren wrote stuff for him.
I think he might have done some of the lyrics, but I don't think he actually wrote the song.
I'm looking at the.
I don't know.
According to the wiki, he didn't write anything. No lyrics were written by Dre.
Really? Wow. Well, that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter. He's so good. It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't think he's a great rapper, though. At least here. I think he got better. I think he perfected his rapping on 2001. But I think because he was so good at producing, like he made his kind of like shitty rapping great on The Chronic.
But he's like Snoop, where it's like, yeah, they're not the greatest rappers, but they have that unique sound. They have a unique style.
Dre's got no unique sound to him.
Dude, when you hear Dre, you're like, dude, okay, this is Dre.
Nah.
You know, get out of here, man. Dre has a unique sound.
Nah.
It's more subtle than Snoop and Eazy-E and shit like that, but it's there. It's unique. It's unique.
I think just because you've listened to it a lot, you know what he sounds like. but give his rapping to someone who's never really listened to hip hop, I don't think they'd be able to tell.
You could say that about like any rock band too. You're like, well, if you've never heard punk music, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between, the Ramones and I don't know, the Strokes or something. Who knows? I don't know what I'm talking about.
But you could have said like, could you tell the difference between Henry Rollins and Jello Biafra? Like, of course. Could you tell the difference to someone who's never listened to punk? Do you think they could differentiate the vocals between Henry Rollins and Jello Biafra? Of course they could.
Only because Jello is so outrageously different.
Okay,
but that's like the only example you can give.
So you give somebody hip hop music.
Only example
could
you
you? Hold on there, dude. You give somebody hip hop music and you say, "Can you tell the difference between Dr. Dre and Eazy-E?" Of course, any day, everybody can do that. Now you give that same person who's never listened to hip hop. Can you tell the difference between MC Ren and Dr. Dre? Maybe not. Maybe not.
But you're also
That's
making this hypothetical situation where somebody's never heard of hip hop. When most people between the ages of 3 years old and probably 50 years old have heard hip hop.
I'll tell you what. I will give friend of the pod Sloan. I'll isolate some verses for him and see if he can tell the difference.
That is a terrible example because
he's in your age group. He's in your age group.
But Sloan isn't. He's not normal. I'm just saying it. Just saying he's not. Okay. He's not a good. It's not good. No,
I agree. I do not think he's good. I also don't think that Dre is unique in any way. I think what makes Dre unique is the production.
Anyway, we're so off track here. Holy shit!
Just because there's not a lot here. Like it's really not. It's a time and place thing. It's it's a historic album that paved the way for so many other things that did a number for the hip hop community.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of meat.
There isn't. There really is not. And that was. Are we wrapping it up?
We can wrap it up.
I think because we're like almost an hour and a half in. So
we should probably wrap it up.
Yeah. So there are other songs to talk about, but really,
it's all kind of the same.
It is kind of the same. It's not as significant. It's not as controversial. Not as important to music history, I guess you could say. So yeah, let's wrap it up, and because we're just kind of repeating ourselves now. Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is a landmark album. That's what we're calling it. That's what people call it. That's what critics call it. It's a landmark album. It represents a place in time, but it also represents like a beginning of something better, and kind of an end to something before it, like the golden era of hip hop, which I know you love so much.
Love that shit.
It's
all the same, dude.
It was kind of on its way out anyway, but this was the death sentence. This was it. It was done. After this, it was done. Fucking.
It was like grunge to hair metal,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
what grunge was to hair metal.
If you were still doing it, then it was just because you're trying to just make some extra money playing small venues. That's it. Mm-hmm. So this is a landmark album. It came out at a time of just like the LA scene in the 80s was just awful, and it only got worse going into the 90s. And so this is I don't know, a time and place. You know what I mean? These guys did something that most bands would dream of doing. Like Black Flag never did anything like this. The Punkers never did anything like this. This is crazy.
No,
you're right. This is crazy.
Culturally, yeah, they didn't do anything as significant, but lyrically, some of those hardcore punk bands had more to say, had better lyrics, better messages than a lot of what was said on this record.
But the biggest
because not a lot was said on this record. That's the thing too.
But like the biggest thing that was said is the most important thing and the most
that's true. Yeah,
aggressive thing that anybody has said in the music until this point. Like what other besides like the Beatles, like being the Beatles or Elvis shaking his hips, like what other thing in music has ever been so revolutionary, so like holy fuck, shocking the world?
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of up there.
No, this is definitely up there, absolutely. But I mean, you could even argue Hendrix was too. Hendrix really shook up the world. I mean, the music world. He really did. Not in any way compared to like Beatles, Elvis. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Like N.W.A, they really ushered in something different. And like the difference between, not a big fan of that era of the Beatles, but
like that was a band that knew how to like do shit, and they were good songwriters, and they, you know, they were progressing things. And Elvis, yeah, he pretty shit at everything. But like these guys, they're not really good songwriters. They weren't good songwriters here. And even like my favorite guy, Eazy-E, didn't write anything on this. And I think Ice Cube has a commanding voice, but that's about it. His songwriting wasn't that great. It was just kind of one dimensional. But that one thing, that shtick, their shtick here was unmatched. It was unmatched.
It was.
Yeah. So I guess my rating here is, it's hard to not give this a 3 because of how iconic it is, but I like this less this week. I really did.
Yeah, I felt.
And I have it on the vinyls, and I listened to it twice, and I liked it. But it really tapers off fast. And as far as like the gangster rap era, this is not even like my favorite through and through. Conceptually, it's my favorite, but I think like as a concept, this is a 3. This is a 3 out of 3, no matter what. This is like one of the greatest albums of all time. But like really, this is a 2.5.
Okay.
It's kind of like a 2.5.
Kind of like a 2.5.
You know what I mean? It looks like a 3, but it drives like a 2.5.
Okay. So
that's how I'm gonna do it.
That's so stupid, but it makes sense, and that's the most annoying part, is that it makes sense.
It does.
So anybody listening who doesn't know about our 3-point rating system, 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard, and you give it a 2.5. Wow.
Huh. It looked like a 3, but it drove like a 2.5.
Okay, there we go. So I think culturally, in the music industry, this is one of the most important records to come out across all genres of music. This is definitely up there. What it ushered into the 90s, that bled into the 2000s. You know, I mean, really, that's how significant it was. It lasted really 2 decades. Its impact. Lyrically, it's a little weak, which was disappointing, obviously, like we talked about. Production-wise, it's fantastic. It's fucking great. But then you hear The Chronic. Then you hear 2001. Then you hear Doggy Style. Like, you hear the Eminem records. You're like, fuck, dude. Like, those are amazing sounding records. But this is still great. It's just not as good as those. So it's like, it's fantastic. Dre is the MVP of this record, hands down. Not because of his rapping, but because of his production and beats and shit. I was disappointed, like you. I have this on vinyl too. I like this album a little bit less now this week after taking a deeper dive into it. So I'm gonna give this a 2.75. I'm gonna give this a little higher rating than you.
It's a little aggregate of my 2 scores. I get it. Right in the middle. Again, right in the middle, baby. Right in the middle.
Gotta ride that fence. Gotta ride that fence.
Consistency.
At least I didn't give it a perfect 3, because it's not a perfect 3.
It's really not.
No, it's not. It is really good though, and it's so important for the industry, for music history. Not industry, that's a bad way of putting it, but history, music history. It's very, very important. So I don't know. That's all I got for this one. You got anything else?
That's it. That's all.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars, and thank you all for listening. And that's it. I'm repeating myself. That's it. That's all. Repeat, Brits.
Timberly up.